It'll. She always late.
She's been having trouble with her cauldron lately.
She's been having trouble with her cauldron since 1986.
I told her to get a new one.
Did she listen?
She said she looked, but the new ones all had to be plugged in and that she didn't need anything with Bluetooth, so...
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Well, it's about bloody time.
Can you hear me?
Yaga, this is intolerable.
It really is. We're in the final stages, and timing is very important.
I'm thinking she might literally have frozen. Do you want me to at least step in and do her part? That might be best. So everyone please pretend that I look female.
Yaga, this is intolerable.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Maybe we should just try this without her.
It really is. Oh, sorry.
I'm sure it will. Hello? Hello? I'm sorry. I really don't know why this is happening. Ever since I let Daphne use it, I really need a new one.
How is Daphne these days? What is she now? What, 10?
Oh, no. She's 13 and everything's a drama. You know how it is. Last week she got a pimp.
Congratulations.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and you'd think the world had come to a shattering end. I told her that it's perfectly fine for a witch to have a few pimples, but she never listens.
Anyway, we're getting really behind, so let's just get down to business. Yagamama, last week you said that you had an idea. You had a plan to get Gary and Roger into a cage.
Did I say that?
That's it. Why can't you ever remember a thing from it? Well,
now, just listen here for a...
Oh, you're not going to believe this, but my audio stopped working. Would you two be able to slow down and... Hello? Hello? Cacophony? Ethanora? I can't hear a word you're saying.
It wasn't you, Yaga.
Oh, good. I got you back. What was that?
it wasn't you.
Oh, but anyway, I remembered about the cage. Yes, I definitely get them into it, but the question is how to keep score.
This isn't a sport, Yaga. No one gets points. We just want them to suffer for what they did.
Ideally, we want all men to suffer, but I suppose we can start with just our exes.
Hell, I think she's frozen again.
Scorpions from killing each other before we get the men in there.
Well, that's why we keep them in the glass bottles, Yaga.
Oh, dear.
Now what?
I got milk jugs.
So?
We'll never get them inside of those. They're way too small. Oh, the jugs, I mean.
No. The scorpions go in the bottles. The men stay in the cage.
Oh. Oh, good. Then the bottles would be just fine.
Oh, this is supposed to be the perfect Valentine's Day, and she's ruining it.
Oh, it'll be fine. Just relax. Now, I was able to arrange a getaway vehicle for you, Ethanora. You said you wanted something fast.
Oh, I hope you got her a cow.
No, I got... What? What? No! Why would I get her a cow?
Wasaki. They're so bitchin'.
No one says bitchin' anymore, Yaga.
My Aunt Lily used to ride a hog. My sisters and me used to.
Enough. Stop. Just stop. Enough.
Just enough what? Anyway, my.
You know,
Which is why to this very day, nobody in the whole family will eat pork.
thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I have a lot of family stories like that.
Later?
Yes, some, but some are from the early days too, when
Anyway, when can you get those jugs to me? The scorpions are going to be delivered on the 8th. Can you get them to me before then, Yaga?
we get our milk deliveries on the 6th.
I think that'll be enough time.
You know, there's one part of the plan that I don't quite get.
Oh, God.
What's that, Yaga?
Wendy Tuna CD learned a less.
Excuse me?
I think her audio is gone again.
No, it's a little acronym I put together so I would remember. It's short for when do we tune in to see if they learned their lesson? Wendy Tuna Sifi learned a less. And it's fun to say. Try it.
I really can't.
Ethanora, you try it.
We don't.
Oh, go on, try it. Takes a little practice, but you'll get it.
We don't check in on them. We leave them in the cage.
But who will bring them food and water?
No one. They can eat scorpions or each other.
That seems pretty awful.
Oh, that's why we're doing it on Valentine's Day.
Oh, to make it cheery?
To make them miserable and hurt like they did to us.
My grandmother used to make soap.
Oh, God, she froze again.
Oh, can we just leave her like that?
She isn't that bad.
She's a raving bubblehead.
Yes, but still she's better than Gary.
Maybe we should try that.
We didn't hear anything you said after soap.
What? There wasn't anything. That was it. Grandma used to make soap. Scented soap, if you must know. So can we do that as our next project?
Whatever.
Daphne, sweetie, we're gonna do soap after Valentine's Day. Do you want to? Do? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh no, honey, soap with an S, not a D. Oh well, just the three of us, it seems.
All right, well, I'm shutting off.
Where are you going?
To order more scorpions.
Oh, but we have plenty for Roger and Gary.
Yes, I know.
Grace Finds Cal, a comedy. The setting is a secluded wild area in a public park. Cal is outside his tent, cooking greens in a frying pan over a fire pit. Grace enters, carrying a bag of takeout food.
Gotcha.
Busted.
Honestly, Cal, a public park?
I hoped I was hidden far enough away.
You weren't.
How did you find me?
Yes.
Can't have been the smoke.
Why not?
This is the Dakota fire pit, the fame's buried. Practically undetectable.
I didn't need visual clues.
Then how did you hunt me down?
Social services has eyes everywhere.
Satellite tracking on your budget? Huh.
We have eyes on the ground. Support from the general public.
So it was that couple who wandered off the track.
What on earth are you cooking?
They were totally lost.
Here.
I showed them the way out.
Have a real meal.
I've got my own dinner.
They look like dandelion leaves to me.
They are.
You're joking.
Every part of the plant is edible, from the flowers to the roots.
Kel, I'm sorry. I had no idea you were so close to starvation.
I'm not.
You're reduced to eating weeds.
Weeds are plants growing in the wrong place. These were right here, nice and handy.
This is premium takeout, a burger and fries.
Junk food.
Healthier than weeds,
Dandelions are highly nutritious.
but hardly tasty, I bet.
Want a sample?
No, thanks. You try this.
Grace, how many times do I got to say it? I don't take charity from a government I despise.
I thought hunger might tweak your principles.
Then you don't know what principles are.
What if I stand upwind and waft the smell over?
I'm taking my tent down. Goodbye.
I've arranged accommodation for you.
Pass.
Warm and dry.
My tent's waterproof and insulated.
You're getting on, Cal. But think of your health.
I put my mental health first. That's why I left the rat race.
You should look after your body, too.
This old thing still gets me around.
Reward it with a little comfort.
Ever notice how life insurance and health insurance differ?
Health insurance is taking care of yourself. Life insurance takes care of your loved ones.
Nope. Health insurance shows you're obsessed with money. Life insurance inflicts your mania on unsuspecting victims.
Do you have family, Cal?
Don't ask me. It's been a while since I checked.
That's so sad.
No, it isn't. Relatives don't understand my lifestyle. Best to spare them the embarrassment.
Compassion. That's a start.
A start? Do you assume I'm a novice at basic kindness?
Sorry.
Where's your faith in humanity?
In my job, it's constantly put to the test.
Oh, dear. There I go. Lacking empathy. Proving your point, Grace.
You're more generous than me. How do you keep so cheerful?
Hard work.
How does your faith in humanity never waver?
Just now it did. Hearing that couple reported me after I guided them back to civilization.
They didn't report you.
Who was it then? Park staff? That'd be much worse. We're old buddies.
Wasn't park staff. I extracted your location from that couple.
Extracted?
They put an innocent post on Facebook. Big shout out to the rough sleeper who rescued us. Without him, we'd have spent a cold night among the trees.
And you...
Went to their home, armed with my laptop. I sat on their couch, bombarded them with statistics, reports highlighting the vulnerability of the homeless, official recommendations on providing suitable shelter. Your couple did not stand a chance. I refused to budge till they'd given me your precise coordinates.
Grace, you're a devious con artist.
Sorry to destroy your faith in humanity.
You haven't destroyed it. You've restored it.
Come again?
You're a government employee. I don't expect anything from you. The important thing is no fellow citizen betrayed me without being manipulated into it. I'm thrilled.
That's a relief. Now let's go. I've brought a van for your gear.
I'm not leaving with you.
You have to.
It'll be dark soon. I'll wait till you've gone, then find another hideout.
You don't understand, Cal. I need to rehouse you to meet my quota.
Quota?
We have targets. I'm so far behind. It's not funny. If I don't achieve a successful intervention by the end of this week, they'll lay me off.
Are you serious?
Government departments are brutal.
Bastards.
I can't afford to lose my job.
Yes, you can.
The market's so tight, I'll land on the scrap heap.
Might seem that way, Grace, but trust me, this could be the best thing for you.
I can't take your leap. Call me a coward.
Didn't mean to pile on the pressure.
Can I have some water, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
What are those?
Pain meds. My head's splitting. I can't stand all this stress.
So, what's this accommodation like?
You'll be with people just like you, down on their luck.
Fellow victims?
Kindred spirits.
Doesn't sound so bad.
You'll come.
Why not? I rave on about humanity. It's time I started showing some.
What about your principles?
Helping others comes first.
Thanks so much.
I'll miss the tent. Still, best to make a clean break, clean slate.
Where you're going, you can shower several times a day.
Yeah, I don't hold with over cleansing the body. The mind is more important.
Try convincing someone standing downwind. Sorry, that's rude.
Nah, good to be honest. You gotta have a clean conscience.
Wait, stop. I lied. There are no quotas, no targets, no layoffs.
I know. You're devious, remember?
I was only trying to help.
That's been your game all along. Well, good news. You've converted me.
What?
I still want to lend a hand.
Really?
Sure, I'll get a buzz out of it.
I'm blown away. I'm not used to this. Someone making a sacrifice for me.
I'm not doing anything for you, Grace. Your government. The enemy. I'm letting you rehouse me so I can get close to those kindred spirits. There'll be a captive audience. I'll inspire them to break free. We'll start a colony for rough sleepers out here under the stars.
Oh, no.
Your job is safe for life. Homelessness is going to go through the roof.
Sorry.
No luck, huh?
Understatement of the century.
Hungry?
I'm okay.
Well, it doesn't mean you're not hungry. Here. I had enough. It's turkey, so... you know, just in case you're...
I'm what?
Just in case you're part bird, I wouldn't want to be responsible for any unintentional cannibalism.
Ah, very thoughtful.
I try. Take a load off. Whoa. Slow down. You don't want to get sick. Turkey's dead. It's not going anywhere. Morgan.
Hey, Riley.
There you are.
Thanks.
Wouldn't want you to think I'm a bad host.
Your reputation is safe. I like what you've done with the place.
Oh, thanks. Well, getting an ocean installed in a living room is expensive as hell, but I think it was worth it.
The sand's a nice touch. Gives the place a certain grainy ambiance.
Doesn't it, though?
So, how long have you been calling this place home? What?
Oh, it's not as easy a question to answer as you'd think. But what are you doing here? You don't...
What? I don't what?
You don't... You look new to homelessness.
Yeah. My parents kicked me out 6 days ago.
Well, and let me be the first to welcome you to the community. Well, normally we have a ceremony for people when they join, but the cake's on back order.
The sandwich works fine, thanks.
Piece of advice, though. Maybe don't be so free with telling people stuff like that.
Like what?
That you were just kicked out only last week.
You asked.
Well, doesn't mean you should answer.
Thanks.
There's a set of instructions, you know.
Funny.
No, really. Not written down, but it's something we try to pass along to the new members.
Let me guess. Step 1. Find shelter. Step 2, find food. Rinse and repeat.
No, they're not instructions for being homeless. For the other thing.
What other thing?
Getting kicked out.
Same thing.
No, it really isn't.
Feels like the same thing.
Well, it's all still pretty fresh. Probably pretty hard to tell one thing from another right now.
You talk like you know what happened. You don't.
I can make some educated guesses, but it doesn't really matter. Your parents reached a tipping point. They told you to get out.
You want to know what happened?
Well, I'm glad to listen if you want to talk about it.
I came out to them. That night, there was a suitcase waiting for me at the door.
Tipping point.
What does that even mean?
Well, it means your parents went from living in a charade where they could pretend that everything was okay, or at least tolerable, and then something happened, and suddenly they couldn't pretend anymore. The truth came out.
The truth about my sexuality.
Oh, the truth that you that you are is not the you that they insisted you were, that they wanted you to be, maybe that they needed you to be.
So you're saying I shouldn't have told them?
No, I'm not saying that at all. If you didn't say anything, yeah, maybe you could have stayed longer, but what would be the point? It's not likely they would wake up one day suddenly able to handle something they couldn't the night before. So you live a lie for, what, another few months? Maybe another few years? But it's a crappy trade. Living a lie for the illusion of being accepted in some awful, ironic, painful way. It's probably better to learn that now, once and for all. And most people live lies their whole life, making friends by pretending to be what they think other people want, never finding the courage to just be themselves.
Thick culture.
No argument there.
Somehow this feels worse.
Probably because it is. You lost a hell of a lot more than a friend or two. Truth is, no matter what you think, you're never ready.
To be homeless?
No, not homeless. You can prepare for that. You're never ready to be rejected. Or maybe better said, to face that rejection. How can anyone get ready for that kind of thing?
I don't know.
You can't. All you can do is follow the instructions.
And they'll make everything all right?
No, they're just instructions. You're the one who will make everything all right.
Okay. So tell me these magical instructions.
Hang on. Here.
Chocolate? This helps make sense out of them or something?
I don't know. Maybe. But that's how it went when I was taught them. Seems like a good tradition. Step 1. Understand that there's a lot more than just one issue going on right now. It all feels like this big I was kicked out mess. But there's a ton of things all knotted together here. People you trusted are questioning your judgment, maybe even your sanity. People you love have told you, in one way or another, that they don't love you back. Oh, and of course, on top of everything, you have no place to stay, no food to eat, no safety net for all the other crap that life throws at you. You need to recognize that it's a lot, and that it'll take time to deal with all the different pieces. And it isn't going to be all resolved next month. Be patient with yourself. Step 2. Deal with the immediate needs. Well, this is the obvious one that you already guessed. You have to sleep. You have to eat. You can't do those. You can't handle anything else. And the rest is really important. But fortunately, you're also going to find out pretty quickly that a lot of stuff you thought you needed, not so much. You can survive on a lot less than you think. Trust me.
Morgan, honestly, I'm running a little low on trust right at the moment.
Yeah, I bet. But that's what makes it more of a leap of faith than a roll of the dice.
I'm a little low on faith, too.
Anyway, step 3. Understand why you want to go back.
I assure you, I don't want to go back.
And I assure you, part of you does. All that fury you're feeling right now, it's the eternal conflict that makes it burn so hot. Part of you wants to go back, and another part is hating yourself for feeling that way. You can lie to me about it all you want, but you have to come to grips with it within yourself.
Easier said than done.
Well, nothing about any of this is easy. 6 days, so you've definitely figured that out by now. But it'll get easier. And then you need to start looking at things from a new angle. That's what Bobby said to me when I was the one eating the chocolate. She said, you know how people say home is where the heart is? Most think that means that your home is where you find your heart, where you grew up, where your family lives, all the things you love from your past. And maybe that works for some people. Maybe. But you, Riley, you need to flip that around now. Your home isn't where you're going to find your heart anymore. That place is just going to hold pain. Instead, you need to put your heart somewhere else. It can be a place, like this beach is for me. But it doesn't have to be. It can be a person, an ideal, a purpose, whatever's right for you. And wherever you put your heart, that's going to be your home from now on.
How do you know where to put it?
Different for everyone. Only you can decide that. When you're ready.
So, that's it? The whole 3-step program?
No. 4 steps. The first 3 are only there to get you ready for the 4th.
Okay.
Step 3 was understand why you want to go back. That's really important. You can't deny the desire. You need to understand it in order to deal with the 4th and final step, which is this. Understand that there's no such thing as going back. Ever. For anyone, in any situation.
I don't believe that. No, I can't accept that. I won't just say, oh well, fuck my parents and my whole lifetime to move on.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Not at all.
It just sounded that way.
Okay, let me try this different way. You ever play those old computer adventure games where you go around doing stuff and you make these choices? Attack the troll or try to talk your way past it to go across the bridge?
I suppose some.
And if you were like me, you saved the game before you made the choice so you could reload it and try the other option in case you picked wrong.
Maybe.
Of course you did. Everyone does. We want life to be like that. We want to believe we can find a way back to where we were so we can fix the mistakes, correct the wrongs. But it can't happen. There's no saved game in real life. Every instant of every day, you change. Everyone changes. With every new life experience, you become a different person. Even if tomorrow you wake up and, like in that Groundhog movie, you find it's a week ago, it still wouldn't be the same. Because you're different. Even if you hadn't told them, could you ever really see your parents the same way again? The way you saw them a week ago when you weren't sure how they would react?
No, no.
Well, fact is, everyone is changing. Every day. Every moment.
Well, it sucks.
It is what it is. It sucks when you don't like how things go, and it's great when things make you happy. Here's how Bobby explained it to me. Imagine that you broke your arm. It's probably going to heal. But even if it does, you still broke your arm. Maybe the knitted bone will be weaker than it used to be. Maybe it'll be stronger. But even if it knits to be exactly the same as it was before, you still broke your arm. And you know it. You have changed. Whatever you did to break it, you probably won't do that again the next time, right? The thing is, Riley, we only grow forward in time.
Grow forward. Interesting way to put it.
Well, most people who suffer trauma think that the goal is to get back to where they were before the trauma happened. That just isn't possible. If you spend your life trying to swim upstream, all you're going to do is stagnate. You are where you are. Now, today, this moment. And you need to realize that the question isn't how to get back to where you were, to what you were. The question is, where do you go from here? From where you are? From who you are now?
Food, shelter.
For the moment. But ultimately, the answer is home. Wherever you decide to put your heart.
And, if I don't want to lose my family?
Anything's possible. Maybe as you move forward, you'll find a chance to build new relationships with your parents. Maybe not. Depends on what kind of people they are and what you want to invest in. But it won't ever be the same. And honestly, that's probably for the best.
That's, a lot to remember.
Well, if you ever need a reminder or a half a sandwich, you know where I'll be.
Right. Thanks, for... Really. Thanks. Wish I had something to give you in return for...
Nah, that's not how it works. All the important stuff lies ahead. Focus there.
I will.
All right, so for some of you who've been here before, you've known how this shindig works. Jane of the Underworld is a action comedy show about a single mom who is only good at one thing: returning lost souls to the afterlife. Currently, at this portion of the show, she's fought a demon who's gotten under her skin and almost defeated her several times, and now the demon has taken her family hostage, and now Jane is at the behest of this demon. As we get into this final act, Malcolm, her boss, was having an affair with this demon. Well, actually, not an affair. Had a one-night stand and then abandoned her to burn in the afterlife for 1,000 years without a return phone call. And that's where we pick up. So we'll start there. Everybody from Jane of the Underworld ready?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Okay. I will read stage directions and then the actors will jump in as we go. Interior, pitch black, day.
Wakey, wakey, Jane.
Jane opens her eyes to see interior, warehouse, empty, white room, continuous, open space, white canvas, and windows upon windows with hundreds of souls, all men trapped inside.
Welcome to my gallery.
Jane finds herself strapped to a furniture dolly like Hannibal Lecter in restraint, straitjacket, and muzzle.
Where is my door? What? Oh, the muzzle. Gaston!
Gaston, 70s, grumpy old hunchback, removes Jane's muzzle.
Where's Gertrude? She's over there in the corner, suspended above the shark tank. Do you see her?
Judith points to Gertrude sitting in a chair suspended above an industrial fish tank.
I know it's a bit cliche, but I just couldn't. Gertrude! Oh, she can't hear you, Jane. She's in a soundproof container that is...
Gertrude! Gertrude! Mommy's coming for you!
Oh, Gaston, the muzzle, darling. Could you just... No.
Gaston secures a muzzle on Jane.
Thank you, Gaston. Oh, just...
Two large men wheel a giant X next to Jane. Strapped to it is Brian, stripped down to his underwear, silenced with a ball gag, bound in restraints, covered in candy and kisses.
Ma?
Hey, Jane.
What?
Hi.
Oh, for God's sake, Gaston!
Gaston removes a muzzle and ball gag.
What happened? Why are you tied to an X? Is that my ball gag?
I woke up tied like this, and I'm not flexible enough for any other letter. And yes, it's your ball gag. Now get me out of this thing.
What is this?
Oh, well, I owe the ladies who sprung me from confinement a favor, so I brought him as their present.
Grandma's Gone Wild, Golden Girls, Bedazzled Meemaws, and Tank Top Midriff Spinsters arrive. Caress Brian, cuddle him ever so gently, and share Werther's candy.
He'll get to spend his remaining days getting to know each one of these aged spinsters very intimately.
Oh, no.
Some of these gals haven't been touching over 1,000 years. Have fun, Angel Muffin.
Please, not the Meemaws. The kisses smell like farts. Yeah. Butterscotch isn't an aphrodisiac. Well, at least make them put their teeth back in. No, not the teeth. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jane.
Brian is carted away.
Focus. Get your powers back. Focus.
Jane summons a tiny knife. She covertly cuts away at her restraints. Judith approaches holding Jane's cell phone.
Call him.
Again with this, Judith.
Yes, Jane. Again.
Judith, you've had plenty of lovers, living and dead. Why are you so fixated on Malcolm?
Not that you would understand, but that man is special.
Enlighten me.
Out of thousands of paramours, he's the only one who knows how to diddle my skittle.
Oh, dear God.
Malcolm made me more alive in my first night of death than I ever felt in all my years of life. And I want another ride on that roller coaster. I want to doodle bop his hump and moisten his pope.
Oh, I'm gonna hurl.
For centuries, all I've thought about is reliving that angelic moment when the stars aligned and I mounted in and I mounted him and I grabbed his goatee and I laid my head back and we just... Oh.
Judith is disgusted. She stews impatiently.
Sorry, just give me a... Gaston?
Gaston comes over with a cloth and wipes Jane's face. Judith leers at Gaston. He shrugs. Judith throws Gaston into the shark tank. He's torn.
Please continue.
Well, after that, he just left. He never called. No kiss goodbye, not even a note. I felt terrible, like I wasn't good enough. Maybe he didn't like the way I stroked his hair or severed his vertebrae. I don't know, but now, after eons of humping and killing, Malcolm and I can once again join in sexual congress. I'll batter dip his corn dog. He'll butter my muffin. And we'll park the beef bus into the tuna tank.
Oh, stop it.
What?
The sex talk. You're gross. Corn dogs and muffins are for county fairs, not privates. B, you were never the problem. Minus the killing thing. He just wasn't into you. Let it go.
Let it go? Malcolm is the one person whom I've dreamt of all my afterlife. And after he sees all that I've done for him, he'll finally...
He still won't be into you, honey. He doesn't need you, and you don't need him. And you look like you moisturize regularly, so this level of thirstiness seems a bit extreme.
You stop it. He's my angel.
He's your neurosis, your mania, your...
My obsession?
See? You did get a lot of use out of that thesaurus.
Judith ponders a moment.
Make the call.
Judith, if I make the call, it ends badly for you. He won't answer and you'll go into a rage. I'll stop you, but not without hurting you physically and emotionally. Years from now, you'll escape, and it's likely we'll do this dance all over again. Is that what you want?
Judith pushes the phone closer to Jane.
Make the call or everyone dies.
Okay. Cell phone. Call Malcolm.
Calling Malcolm! The phone rings.
You've reached Malcolm. I'm currently on sabbatical until a stalker of mine is returned to the underworld. If you need help immediately, please contact...
Told ya.
Kill them all!
Judith drops Gertrude into the shark tank. Jane busts free from her restraints, dives headfirst into the tank, and shatters the enclosure. Dead creatures lie everywhere. Jane holds Gertrude safely in her arms.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, sweetie.
Grannies transform into bloodthirsty demons. Jane cradles Gertrude in one arm, leaps into the middle of the group, and boom, destroys them all. Jane frees Brian from the X.
We beat them off using one hand. That's hot. Scary, but hot.
Brian gets an erection. Jane covers Gertrude's eyes.
Brian, cover your shame.
Sorry. Sorry.
Die!
Judith reaches for Jane's neck. Jane blocks the attack, grabs Judith by the face, and hurls her across the room.
Help Daddy find his pants. Mama's got to work now.
Okay.
Jane leaps across the room.
Mommy's amazing!
Yep.
Brian's erection resumes. He covers up with his hands.
Daddy, why do you have your hands in front of you?
Not important, honey.
Across the warehouse, Judith gets up dazed. Jane stands above her, glowing with energy, her body surrounded with lightning and flames.
Now, I realize you've been through hell, but you messed with my kid. So now you're going to be put through a whole lot worse.
You'll never win.
Judith swings at Jane. Jane catches Judith's fist.
Of course I'll win. I'm too stubborn to lose.
Jane and Judith punch, kick, and throw each other across the warehouse. Judith fights valiantly, but she's no match for the pissed-off, supercharged mama. Jane puts Judith down hard. Judith lies on the ground, upon the ground, defeated physically and emotionally. Jane opens a portal. Brian, now wearing pants which barely fit, approaches with Gertrude.
Gertrude, take Daddy home. I'll come by and get you later.
Okay.
Brian.
Hey, Dad, don't screw up taking Gertrude home or I'll end up like the demon whose ass you just kicked and got it.
Bye, Mommy.
Bye, sweetie. I'll be home soon.
They head toward the exit.
Daddy, your pants don't fit.
Yeah, I know, honey.
How come you're covered in candy?
Still not important, honey.
Brian and Gertrude enter the portal. Jane grabs a mason jar.
Come on, Judith. It's time.
It's not fair. I did this for him. I just wanted to be loved. Why wouldn't he at least call? Why doesn't he want me?
Jane stares at Judith. She ponders. Interior, Malcolm's personal void, day. Malcolm sits on a couch reading. Jane enters.
Jane.
Apologize.
Apologize? For what?
Not to me.
Jane opens a mason jar. Judith appears.
Jane, what is this?
Hopefully the end of all this unnecessary drama.
Malcolm,
Judith, I'm sorry. It was wrong for me to take you to my void, hump you, then abandon you to burn for an eternity. I thought your hair looked amazing. You have really nice teeth, but that's no excuse. What I did then was cruel and hurtful. Going forward, should you be less murdery and upon parole, I would welcome the opportunity to court you properly.
Judith?
I'm kind of nervous. I don't always know what to say when I'm nervous. I don't say things well when I'm nervous.
Just do it like we practiced, okay?
Judith pulls out a piece of paper with notes.
Okay. Malcolm?
Yes, Judith?
You jive-ass turkey! I ought to stomp on your face and slap your innards for shucking my oyster and leaving me to rot in the darkest places of the underworld for all eternity. Especially since now that you see me in person, eons later, you're hoping to plan that future hookup? Fish, please! You don't get to grope for trout in this river. You could have had it so good. I would have broken your cherub. You would have felt such pleasure. You would have been quoting scripture all the time. You screwed up, playa. So when I'm released from confinement 1,000 years from now and you're fitting to ask me for a date, you can keep your snaggletooth, one-eyed, smelly, centuries-old, no game having, still sporting that tired-ass goatee, wanting what you can't have away from me. Judith, boom!
Silence. A tumbleweed rolls through the void.
All right. Back in the mason jar.
Did I do good? Yeah.
Well, honey, you did well.
Are you sure? I mean, I can save more.
Judith, leave on a high note.
Okay.
Judith turns, flips Malcolm off, smiles, and enters a jar.
Jive-ass turkey. Did you teach her to speak to me like that?
Not exclusively.
Rookie. I oughta...
So I'm going to take Judith down to processing now.
You do that.
Jane turns to exit.
Jane.
Yes, Malcolm?
You did well.
Jane smiles.
Bring a demon in my void again, though, and you're fired.
Whatever.
Malcolm smiles.
Good night, Malcolm.
Good night, Jane.
Jane opens a portal and disappears.
Stomp my face and slap my innards. At least the woman finally knows what I like.
It's a well-manicured grass lawn with rectangular grave markers set in the ground. Sitting on the bench is Carlene. Carlene is very casually dressed in tight blue jeans and a sheer blouse. She's holding a rose on her lap. Monica enters from the side. Monica, dressed in a very formal outfit. She approaches one of the markers, kneels down to lay flowers on the marker. She steps back and turns toward the bench. Carlene has been watching Monica. When Monica turns to her, Carlene smiles.
Do you have a love book?
I do.
Where?
Yonder, like a few rows over. There's no bench there, though. I had to walk up the hill, and on a hot day, it takes a lot out of your body.
Of course, I feel the same. Would you mind if I shared the bench?
Of course not. Take a load off. It takes this Is this yours?
Yes, my late husband.
Well, seeing he was here before you, he ain't late anymore. Oh, sorry. Sometimes words tumble out of my mouth before I even get a chance to think of them.
That's all right. It was actually amusingly accurate. Joseph was always late. He almost missed our wedding.
Some women count it a blessing if the groom shows up at all.
Yes, I suppose so.
Now, when I hitched up with Henry, I had the whole shindig in his house. On account I knew he'd already be there.
That was wise of you.
Yeah, betcha. He never would drive far to a hitching post.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, how long has he been?
Kick the bucket.
Yes.
It's been nearly 2 years now.
I see. I'm sorry for your loss.
I appreciate it. How long for you?
It's been a year today.
It's still new, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Tell me, do you still think of your husband in the same way?
Well, there's moments when I'm sad and I'm remembering him. Sometimes I still cry, but...
No, I mean, well, I'm sure when I think of Joseph, I will miss him, but I was wondering how you thought of Henry when he was alive. Did you think of him as the same person now?
Well, he's not easier to get along with now. He doesn't keep interrupting me like he used to.
Yes, but has your idea of him changed? Has he become more perfect? Have you forgotten all his failures and flaws?
Henry, he ain't never even come close to being perfect. As far as flaws, well, I forgave them while he was alive. Henry wasn't perfect, but he always gave it his best shot. I suppose even got me prepared for his going.
Oh, how do you mean?
Well, before I explain that, if you don't mind, could you tell me how your Joseph met his maker?
No, I don't mind. It was all very Joseph. He had been away from home, some business trip. He was often on business trips, especially recently. I'm still not sure what changed at work for all his trips. He came home rather late, sat down in his favorite leather chair, took off his shoes, sat back, and died. A word, no sound, no messy scene. I found him there the next morning.
Now, ain't certain, but that seems to be the way to go. Now, kind, quiet, peaceful, and right quick. Not at all like my Henry. Liver cancer, diagnosed too late to do anything. He did a lot of suffering before his final went, and at the end, I was all ready to let him go.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Appreciate it. I guess with your Joseph, it was more of a shock. Whereas with my Henry, I got a chance to prepare for it. Well, that one, the other thing.
The other thing?
Well, yes. If this is true confession time, I'm a little ashamed to admit it. But, well, I had an affair.
I see. How soon after you died?
Now, at the risk of sounding like a cheap tramp, I had to admit it started before he died.
What?
See, I knew you think poorly of me.
No, I'm sorry. I just didn't expect that. However, as you said, our circumstances were different. It is really not up to me to judge you.
But you did.
Please, I'm really sorry. It's not my place to judge you. I am sure considering what you've been going through.
Don't fret. After all, we don't even know each other. Probably never see each other again after this. And I knew what I was doing wasn't proper. But it was an awful thing to be alone at the same time. The person you're married to is still with you, but not really there anymore. I needed someone to hold to.
Yeah, I understand. I really do. Is the affair, is it still around?
No. Circumstances have changed. And even if they had not changed, it would have never worked.
Why is that?
He was married.
Oh.
There goes the judging again.
No, I can't help it. You keep throwing these bits of information at it. I'm just not prepared.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just that I never had the chance to speak about such things till now. Up there's no one around to spread gossip.
Yeah, dead men tell no tales.
I was always more concerned with the women.
Well, we can be cruel sometimes.
Meaner than a Black Friday shoppers at the Walmart, waiting to stab you in the back and grab that last brawl out of the bin.
Another reason not to shop outside of Saks. By the way, what happened to the mystery man? Why didn't it work out?
He loved his wife too much.
How could he love his wife and have intercourse with you?
Intercourse? Honey, please. We had sex. We fucked. But don't be so medical.
We should maintain a degree of decorum. I was trying to be polite. After all, we must consider the place that we're visiting.
I don't think anyone here will be caring of our conversation. But out of respect for you, I'll try and curb my language.
Okay, thank you.
And now, back to the original conversation. He loved his wife, but there was something missing.
Oh, I'm sure it was all about sex. He wasn't getting all he needed at home.
Well, thanks for meeting me halfway. No, it wasn't sex. That was adequate at home. He said he missed was conversations.
Conversations? How preposterous. He was probably lying. He just wanted you to believe that so he could get you to sleep with him.
No, he wasn't.
Can you be sure? How can you trust a man who would cheat on his wife?
Because I made the first move. When we first met, all we did was sit and have coffee. We met in a very crowded cafe. There was no more tables, and when I saw him come in, he asked to share my table. We sat there for 3 hours before either one of us had realized how long we'd even been talking.
How could strangers talk for 3 hours?
Everything and anything. He found more things to be something to talk about, even things most people don't notice, but mostly about our marriages.
Wait, so he knew about your husband?
Yes. It was the first subject I brought up. I wanted him to know right away I wasn't single.
And he told you that he was married?
The ring on his finger gave that away. He was very open and honest about it. At the first time, it wasn't like we were trying to hook up. There was no reason to hide it. And it gave us something in common. A week went by after that, and we bumped into each other again at the same cafe. Although I had to admit, I've been coming back regularly, hoping I'd see him again.
And you don't think he was doing the same thing?
I don't know. I never asked him. However, a part of me hoped he'd be doing exactly that.
And you said you made the first move. How did that happen?
We were leaving the cafe one day, and there was this moment between us when we should have kissed. But he just looked so lost and soulful. Instead of kissing me, he turned away. I grabbed him by the arm and told him I needed him to kiss me. He said it was impossible. He wouldn't hurt his wife.
Yeah, but he had already hurt his wife. After all, he was frequently seeing another woman.
Honey, it was just coffee and chit-chat. He was getting what he needed, but I wasn't. I told him if he could not give me what I needed, that I could no longer see him.
And so he gave in?
No. He said he understood, and he turned and walked away. I knew I had pushed him away. I just stood there and watched him vanish into the crowd.
Oh, that was your big move. That was it. It all ended.
I thought so. But then 2 weeks later, as I was walking to the cafe, I saw him standing outside this cafe leaning against a cab.
Wait, your mystery man was a taxi driver?
No, he had been standing there with the meter running, waiting for me to show up.
What did you do?
I walked straight up to him and I told him if nothing had changed, he might as well go straight to hell and get in the cab and drive straight to hell.
And what did he say?
He said the only place he wanted to go in the cab would be, and if hell was the destination, then buckle up. We drove to one of the finest hotels I had ever been to and spent the entire weekend never leaving our room.
So why did it end?
I told you, he loved his wife too much. He was feeling guilty and afraid he couldn't keep the secret from her. He was having chest pains thinking about it. And he said, I deserve more than a half a relationship. And I knew he was right. So we said our goodbyes after one last night.
And what about Henry? Was there any guilt for you?
Yeah. But for me, all this was giving me the strength to accept his passing. The affair helped me deal with his death. Having someone I could hold and cry on helped to ease the pain. I was losing someone I loved deeply. I was watching this man suffer. I needed someone to tell me I was going to be okay, that I would be able to love again.
So you loved them both?
Don't you think it's possible for one person to love more than one person?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you were lucky to find two people you could love so deeply. I'm afraid I've never found that.
What about Joseph?
I thought I loved him, but, you know, to be truthful, he was not the same man I thought he was. He never fulfilled my expectations.
How do you mean?
You know, I'm not really sure either. I think I had a romantic illusion of how life would be with him, and I'm afraid he could just not live up to them. I thought it would be like my father, a man among men, a man with ambitions and aggressive visions. As it turned out, all my Joseph wanted was to sit at home and talk about the most trivia of subjects. He would have long, meandering speeches about his day and some insignificant event he witnessed while walking down the street. It was not the life I wanted.
Maybe it wasn't the life he wanted either.
Yeah, perhaps. You know, all I know is that, you know, we drifted apart. When I found him that morning, I just sat on the couch across from him. I became aware that I was not surprised. I had no fears. It was all quite normal, as though I always expected to find him like that.
How very sad.
Yeah, it should have been, but it wasn't.
Then why do you still visit him?
I think it's guilt. You know, I know he loved me. I think that I should have loved him more. I came back here hoping someday I'll feel something. You know, you were really lucky to have that strong feelings for two people.
There is a downside to it. It comes with a lot of pain.
Yeah, but I would have settled for that.
Maybe this numbness you're feeling is the deal with the loss. Maybe it protected you from your grief and pain.
You know, I think that you're being too generous with me. It was a pleasure meeting you, but I really have to be heading home.
Likewise, but try not to be so hard on yourself. Oh my God, Joey, that was the close one. We'll have to rethink our meeting here. I know I miss talking to you and I want to keep visiting with you, but this makes me sad and I want to give up a lot for her. So why is it that I feel more sad for her than I do for us? That's funny, isn't it? I never thought I'd be sad for them and myself, but I am. I guess I'll just have to deal with it. Sorry we didn't get to spend more time together, but I'm getting jealous. Don't get jealous that I'm going on away. Say goodbye to Henry on the way out. I'll see you soon.
So if you can hang out a little bit longer, we usually have a little discussion on what we've seen and done. The first one was Gracie finds Cal, but I'm not sure if anyone's still left here from that. That was Michael Goya. Michael's still here. Great.
And I'm here.
And Rex is still here.
Maria had to leave.
Okay. So, Rex, I guess we can start with you. How'd you feel about it?
I thought this was a really good reading of the play, and it's really lively, and I enjoyed it very much. I'd be interested in other people's reactions.
I was waiting for Maria's character to say that she was lying about the protocol, and I just knew that her character would at least try to get on his sympathy. I'm glad he went for it. I did enjoy that little bit between them.
I liked the play a lot. I was surprised. I didn't see it coming, the quotas thing, which I thought was really funny. Because the first line that stuck with me, which now I'm going to torture, but it was something about, he was inspired by having faith in government employees or something, like she had inspired him. And then later she comes up with the quotas thing, and I liked that twist a lot. Thought it was funny.
Yeah. Anyone else? Michael, how was the character for you?
It was interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see it go farther. It's a nice little germ of something. I think the characters are great, but it just like happens and boom, it's gone. So I know Rex explained a little bit. It's a little piece of a longer series of vignettes that feature Grace. But I think Kel needs more life too.
Yeah. I also like the idea that your character, although he falls into her perspective of being homeless, it was like he's not really homeless. He's choosing a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
I have to apologize that I didn't see it, Rex. But it sounds like it was wonderful. Because I was running late, I had to use the time yours was being performed to read mine, so that I could know what to do when it was my turn. So, but I'm sure it was amazing because you're always such a good writer.
You can catch the video.
I will. I have every intention of watching the video. Yes.
And we're still recording. I think the second one was The Cauldron, Jeff's. And so, Jeff, you just had that kind of lying around because we had 3 actresses that decided that they needed something to do. Yeah. Because I kept looking for scripts that had 3 women in it, and I didn't have those characters. So glad you brought that up, and that those actresses got the chance to perform.
Yeah, me too. And I thought they did a great job, and especially because I think I saw a note from Leslie who said that she didn't even really have a chance to read it until just before, something like that. And that's a very hard part to dive into. So, Leslie,
you got a you had a costume on. You had to be prepared.
What's the news? It might have been somebody else. I may have been messing it up. So
okay,
it'd be my fault.
She just didn't pull that wig and hat out of thin air, I'm sure.
I think I got mine yesterday, the script.
Okay. I also thought it was interesting because there was a couple of moments in the dialogue when you're talking about her character and the fact that that it's her internet's not working, and you were saying maybe we should just do this without her. And it was like, is that part of the dialogue?
Well, that was the funniest part, because her internet is, Yagamama's internet is supposed to be flaky, or not internet, but inner cauldron. And, you know, so she's going in and out, and sometimes the screen freezes. And then, so I was watching it, and I'm like, oh yeah, so she's just playing with it. And then like she disappeared completely. And I'm like, that's not in the script. She really lost internet.
Luckily, she was able to come back.
So we're having a hurricane in the middle of all this. So my Wi-Fi's been going out because of the hurricane.
Where are you located, Leslie?
New York.
Oh, okay. So maybe it hit you harder than it did Connecticut, because all we got was some showers.
Yeah, we got some. Right now, there's some really dark black clouds outside. So we didn't get the wind, but we got all that rain and everything, and that might have messed with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that moisture in the air does interfere with some networking, even if there's too many trees around. That can do it.
Yeah, but it worked for the character, right?
Yes. It did.
And the rest of you guys covered it beautifully. So
he kept on coming back in. Hello. Are we on the script?
And Lisa Rose, is she from England?
She is, yeah.
Was she performing from England, or is she in the country now?
No, she's in England. And was performing there.
Okay.
So I was impressed, because by 10 o'clock in the evening, I'm like,
yeah. Rex,
my,
did you have
my favorite line there was the pimp.
Yeah.
Pimp pull.
Pull. I think mine's the Kawasaki part.
Now, were the men that they were planning on torturing, were they supposed to be men they personally knew, or just strange men that they decided to throw into a cage?
No, those are the exes.
Okay.
Yeah, exes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Did
Ideally all men, but we'll start with the exes.
Okay. So did Leslie's character have an ex?
Yeah.
Okay. She seemed to kind of give in a little bit towards the end.
I think they both wanted to see their exes in. Yagamama didn't know what was going on, but the other two were definitely all for it.
Okay. All right. Now, has that script been performed before?
That has, yeah. We there's another group that's called Caravan Productions, that it was actually written for a Twisted Love or something like that competition around Valentine's Day. Oh. So there were three, the three ladies of Wales, we were referring to them as at the time, who we all got together and said, all right, well, what do we want to write? And so the gist, you know, I put most of the details in, but the idea that it was going to be something with the three of them. And I said, well, if you had superpowers, what would it be? And they all kind of independently said, I want magic. And I'm like, okay, so we'll have three witches. That's not hard to do. And they said they wanted it to be definitely a twisted Valentine's that was not like people falling in love, but, you know, something with a bit of an edge to it. So it was written actually for those three women specifically to, you know, have a little fun with. So they performed it.
Great. Raina, did you like the character? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I love the character. Oh my goodness. I mean, I feel a little bit more like usually a Yagamama by nature, but it was so wonderful to play this role for sure.
That's awesome. So was that your magic wand, or was that supposed to be some type of?
Yeah, it's a chopstick with foil.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's my wand that I was zapping both of them to be silent, so that we were like this.
Yeah.
Zap silence. Unzap.
Okay. So I guess the next word was forwarding instructions. Michael, you leaving?
Go on.
Okay. Well,
Thank
thanks
you,
for
though. I
coming.
appreciate it. Nice meeting everyone.
And I hope you find this as a place to come back to now that our
I will. Yeah, I'll keep up with the Facebook page.
And you've
Take care.
also you also do writing too, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, bring something in.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Sure.
Thank you, Michael.
Wasn't Jane next, Michael? I mean, Stephen?
Yeah.
Was it?
I think
You
it
probably-
was.
oh yeah, we made a switch. Yeah. Okay. So, Dr. Keith,
Dr. Keith.
last episode.
Well, that was all from all the parts that we read came from the pilot. That was the last portion of the pilot. So
Okay.
we finally got through all 5 acts.
All right. I noticed in this episode there was a little bit more of sexual innuendos, especially with Jeff's character, and not even an innuendo. It was just kind of
That was pretty
out
blatant.
there.
When the stage directions call for an erection, I think we've left innuendo.
Yeah. Yeah, the innuendo was written all through everything Jules had to read, which was just so lovely.
She's so good. I love playing opposite Jules. We've gotten to do it a few times. And I mean, she's a great nemesis to have. So I'm not sure which of us is the other's nemesis. I might be her, she might be mine, but either way, it's so much fun to play with her.
And no matter what character you throw at her, she just seems to be able to take it on. Yeah.
It's because she commits, right? She does 100% in everything. So, yeah.
Yeah. So she's groovy, people, and I had to turn off my camera when she was reading Judith's last monologue because I was laughing so hard. And I did not want to, and I didn't want to distract. And I saw Sean kind of like breaking up a little bit and just like, okay, just stay in character. And then it was just like, yeah, you were leveraging the laughter for whatever you were going to say right after that. It was like, okay, just get back in the jar.
I was trying to play it that Jane actually was enjoying it. Not just that Sean was losing her shit, but that Jane was enjoying this moment because they're Jane's words, right? Jane told Jules what to say. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or Jane told Judith what to say. Judith what to say. Yeah.
It was all good.
Yeah. So are you going to be writing any more about Jane and the Underworld?
Well, so everything that I brought to this group has been, from a television pilot that I've written. So the next time I get to write about these characters is when I sell it, right? So, or actually, I take that back. There's, I have kind of on the. This has evolved many different ways thus far. Started all out as kind of like a half-hour kind of comedy, and then after taking it to producer who wanted like a 1 hour, then I did this 1 hour version, which is the one that we've read here. And then I also have kind of like an outline of a Jane the Underworld movie to possibly introduce, the entire, character franchise, blah, 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 blah. But I haven't written that. I haven't written that yet because I'm babbling to say, I just haven't written it yet. So I'm hoping that the next time I write for this, that it's actually going to be a sold television series, but I don't know that for certain.
Well, even if all you have is a pilot and you're introducing a pilot for a series, aren't they going to want to know some episodes and what those episodes are going to be? And
yeah, that's correct. So, the way that I understand to do that now is to kind of write, kind of like your pitch packet, and then you would have your log lines for each of those episodes coming up, like you see what happened like in episode 2 and episode 3 and episode 4, and talk about whatever obstacle or whatever, creature of the week Jane is going to face. versus what I've done before years ago when I thought I had a series going to television and they were gung-ho about it. And then I was just like, well, I'll just write the entire like 10 episode season first. And then the entire thing got scrapped. And I was like, son of a bitch. You know, I mean, I learned I could write, 10 episodes in a very short time, but I also learned that they'll get you to do anything for free without giving you a guarantee. You're like, I can't do all of that. Like I got other stuff that I got to still finish. Like I got another animated sitcom that I've been working on now that I still got to get completed, and other pieces where it's just like, there's all of this volume to build before you even get in front of like any of these dev executives to be able to say, hey, you know what? I got this idea. And then they want to see everything. But then when they want to see everything, they want to see it like, okay, here's your packet. Here's the stuff. Okay. Is this enough of an idea? So it's like, okay, the packet that describes it, a few visuals, and then the pilot, make sure that all of those things are absolutely, kick-ass, so good that nobody can deny it. And then at that point, somebody maybe will say, well, I might take it to my boss and see. Because then it's the juggle of the air, like, hurry. Okay, wait, hurry. Okay, wait, and then we'll see. But one of these things is getting on TV. God damn it. I'll bet my hair on it.
Absolutely. Like, I second that 100%. So when we got done, I had to shoot Keith a text thanking him for writing such strong material because it's good. And my personal first love is television, acting. Well, I love film too. But anyway, so the way in which you've been able to give us the pieces of Jane, of the underworld, it's so strong. It's entertaining, it's intelligent, and it's fun, right? And so I don't doubt at all that you will eventually one day have a series on TV. And I'm kissing your ass now.
Who else can play Jane?
So you can give me a job. Anyway, no, but seriously, like really, really good stuff. And I'm curious now, having heard that there's a whole other series that you did do a full 10 episodes of. I would be interested in seeing some of that if you wanted to share it with the group at some point.
Sure. Oh God, those scripts are so bad because they are so far back behind. The writing has changed significantly from that point.
Gotcha.
I thank you. It's just like those ones aren't going to be shared until after the checks are in and somebody can say, "Oh, that's how bad they started."
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Steven's been fortunate enough to, or unfortunate enough to hear one of the other animated pilots that I've had, got Inspector Monkey.
That was hysterical. I love that one.
Yeah.
You might want to bring that one in here.
Inspector Monkey?
No, Inspector Monkey. It's a animated sitcom about a belligerent crime-solving monkey who refuses to retire from law enforcement. And when the city tries to force him into retirement, he uses his acumen and his arrogance to prove that he is their best, yet most annoying hope at solving major crimes. Kind of think like Law and Order meets Archer on a 2-drink minimum.
Nice.
And now you understand why we were talking about sliding down popes and things in my shows. Because yeah, that's where the mind goes.
You have such a dynamic and extraordinary imagination. It's really
100%. I could never come up with the things that you guys come up with. I could never. I'm good at adapting things that already exist, like fairy tales and Shakespeare, but creating whole worlds like you guys do and creating relationships and creating full characters out of thin air, I couldn't do it. You guys are amazing to me. All of you writers, just amazing.
We'll keep coming back.
So, and everybody did awesome on the cold read. Everybody who's been reading these have all been doing like cold reads and just the one rehearsal that we have in the day. Everybody's been doing awesome. So thank you guys very, very much. Especially, Jeff, who's been the best Brian forever. Grady, who just came in and was just a quick kid. And then Sean, who've just been, kicking butt as Jane. Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
So from there was forwarding instructions. Jacqueline and Paul, and I guess Jacqueline had to leave.
Yep.
Yeah. She was really good. she got very emotional near the end. I worked with her on another script, and it was just a very powerful production because of her performance and what she brought to it. Yeah.
I'll also say Paul's performance just likewise blew me out of the water. It was just so spot on to the character as written. I mean, it was just a beautiful performance on both of their parts. I was so impressed.
You introduced that with the Anton's group once, right?
I don't remember. I might have. I'm not sure.
I remember a reading of it at least. I thought it was Anton's group, but I can't remember. I was just wondering if you had made any changes to it since that reading.
I don't think so. Yeah, if I did, it would have been relatively soon, and I don't think it's changed over the last several months.
Okay.
That's what struck me the most about this piece was how beautifully you wrote the relationships between those two characters, and the cast was perfectly cast, in my opinion. They were fantastic, and you really bought that. My question is, are we to understand that the character Paul played, whose name I forgot,
Morgan
is also gay, or it came out to his family? Is that sort of implied, or?
I don't think the script talks to it either way. There's certainly some implications that he has gone through a similar type of thing, whether it was because he was gay and got kicked out, or there was some other thing. You know, it's clear that he also had suffered through something of that nature. But within the script itself, I felt that was something that I would leave to a director to make their own choices about as to why. And in fact, the names for the characters, both Morgan and Riley, were chosen very explicitly to be gender neutral, so that all of those aspects, and I've seen the play read a number of times, and it carries very different feelings to it if you have an older male, a younger female, versus an older female or a younger male, or both the same gender. The play takes on a very different feeling each time, interestingly enough, even though the message, of course, stays fairly well constant, which is one of the things that I guess makes me like that script a lot, is that it has the ability to morph that way depending on how people want to play it.
And the other question I had was the concept. Did you speak with homeless people? Was this something you heard that somebody did that passed on tips, or did you just come up with that?
You know, so there's a bunch of different questions that are kind of packed into that. The message about that is not a message specifically about homelessness or rejection or anything like that. It's the recipe, if you will, really applies to trauma writ large. The understanding about the difference between needing to grow from where you are as opposed to dedicating yourself to trying to get back to some place that you can't.
I got that. That's why I wondered if it was specifically from some homeless person that you'd spoken to that had come up, because it was clear to me that it could be used with any trauma.
Right. You know, I have at various times, I've had a fair amount of experience at this point in the topic of homelessness. My mother was kicked out when she was very young, went onto the street. We actually have a couple of people that are staying with us right now who were in that situation where they got kicked out and had no place to stay. And so we have them hanging out in her basement until they've got their feet under them. I have other friends who've been in there. I have friends who have worked as social workers to help people. So the topic has come up in conversations many times over decades for me. And as well, for Riley's issues of, how do you address the fact that your parents can't handle your sexual orientation or what have you? What does that all mean? And seeing what can happen to kids when they don't get that support from their parents, you know, and trying to understand what that can do. And similarly, you know, a lot of experience from that. So I guess in that respect, it's one of the reasons why I like this piece so much, is because it touches on things that I have dealt with in one form or another. Very close friends have dealt with over the course of, you know, probably my whole life in some form. Yeah, thanks for asking.
I do have to say, though, the beginning of the video made me think about writing another script, because
even better.
I couldn't figure out if what Paul was doing was real or if it was part of your script. But the fact that he was saying there was something wrong, but it looked like there was nothing wrong, and then Jacqueline was saying, "Okay, well, we'll just wait."
Oh, okay.
And Paul would go.
I can't take credit for that. That was not part of the script.
But I think that would be a great way to.
I'm
to
sorry.
do
I have my camera is having some kind of issue with. I don't know if it's with Zoom or my operating system or what it is, but it's. See, it's even doing it right now. I don't know.
So it doesn't look like there's an issue. So that's what made me think, wait a minute, is this part of the script? Is because a couple of times I was going to go in and say, you know, do you need something? And then I was saying, well, no, maybe this is.
You never know.
Here I was feeling so proud. I'm like, I've motivated somebody to write. No, that wasn't me. I was.
But it may happen on our next Zoom.
Cool. Write it.
Rex, don't take that idea.
As I say, you better write it tonight, because Rex is going to have it by tomorrow midday.
Similar thing has happened to me. One of my plays in another reading, you know, things didn't work at the beginning of the Zoom, and the actors improvised, and at the end some people said, oh, that's the best part of the script.
Yeah Well, that happened I think last month with the script that Paul Sirachi did for me, and Chuck was having so much problems with his internet, but he was playing a character that was like this grandfather who was not very well adapted to using the internet. And they just said, well, it just seemed like his character, because one time I think he ended up, all you saw was a photograph of him, and there was no other video. So sometimes it works out okay when Zoom messes up, but yeah. Well, our last one is Another View with Laura and Jackie.
Can I go first?
Sure.
I really like the story. I did. I feel like for me, I need to learn how to have my script up on the screen so that I can look more forward, because I felt like a couple of times I was worried about too much lighting in here. So I tried to dim everything. And then I was like, started stumbling over my lines, but I felt like I was the character for the majority of like I felt like I was in her shoes, you know. So, but I definitely love the story.
And Laura, you want to unmute?
I think you're an awesome writer. I think you should have something in film and on TV. And I'm not being biased because you're my brother. I think it's because you should. You're very talented, and I'm very proud. That's why I don't like to screw up your scripts.
Wait, Jackie and Steven are siblings, like in real life?
In real life.
I did not know that. How cool.
Yeah, I'm the baby sister.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I second what Jackie is saying in terms of your writing, Steven. I just want to commend you on the fact that you're constantly writing strong women and good female relationships. So thank you for that.
But if you ever noticed,
and when I say strong women, I don't necessarily mean that every woman has to literally be a butt kicker or ass kicker, right? I just mean the fact that you write complete women, that we're not just there to like support someone else's story. You give us our own story.
But if you've ever noticed in the scripts that he gives me, I'm an alcoholic. I'm constantly drinking. I was a tramp, you know. I'm always speaking out, not thinking. But, you know, and he gets that from part of my real life, though, unfortunately, and he keeps putting it in his scripts.
I think that is so cool. Make me a tramp, Stephen. I wanna be a tramp.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll show her the script and she'll just say, okay, I'm playing that character.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're writing about me. I'm like, holy shit, I got it already. Here, just give it to me. But it always is a lot of fun. It's a pleasure watching everybody. I think everybody's scripts were awesome tonight. I can say my second favorite was the witch one. I would have loved to have been a witch. Just saying. Because you know I'm good at that one too, so.
And torturing men, yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. They'd have been in a cave and never come out. They'd have been a toad for the rest of their friggin' lives. And no water to find either. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's always fun, though. It's a pleasure.
Well, in case anybody doesn't know, also Laura is my wife, so we kept.
No, I thought she was like some movie star out in Cali. And I do enjoy working with my sister-in-law too. It's always a pleasure.
Wait, who's your sister-in-law?
Laura. What? Can you believe it? Yes.
So it's basically a whole family affair, and I didn't even know it.
It's a family hour. We just invite everybody.
Wow. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to produce this script this time, but they've been waiting for the Real Housewives, and I haven't been able to really turn that out again. So they needed to get their feet back into performing.
Yeah, I was going through a little withdrawal.
And these are once a month. Is that accurate?
Yes, and it's the fourth Sunday, not the last Sunday, the fourth Sunday. That's just a traditional thing coming out of the Culver City group, which kind of started this. So we always met on the fourth Sunday. Any other points, questions? Anybody have anything coming up they'd like to plug?
Just teach me how to get my script up. Saturday. Teach me Saturday. Don't forget.
Okay. We'll do that. Yep. Yep. Laura, do you have anything to say about your own performance?
You were awesome. You were awesome. I always enjoy working with you in these things. I think it's just so much fun.
It is. It is. I agree.
She's
ready? You want to
shy right now, are you?
No, I want to say, Steve, it was so well written because today was actually the first time I really, it was yesterday I read it, but today I read it again. It was just so well written. It was just.
I know, I loved it.
Yeah. I'd like to say that I wrote that over a year ago, and I never can get my wife to read any of my stuff.
That's because I wasn't there.
I'm talking about Laura. She never reads it.
But see, now look, me and her are like banging them out. And give us more. Give us more.
Okay. I'm trying to come up with something for the Real Housewives.
Yay!
I'm hoping that Jules and Sean don't grab something else, and that I'm able to produce something that that we can do next month.
Yeah, I'm going through withdrawal with my alcohol stash too, so we need to put that back out there.
Yeah, but next time you have to bring some bleach.
I got a gallon. You know me, I always get big with a drink.
So anything else?
Loads of fun. It was wonderful. I think I came to maybe one of your the first Zoom call. and maybe once about 2 or 3 at the Culver City when that was pre-COVID. So it was
Right.
wonderful just to, everyone just did an amazing job. The writing was spectacular and just great to meet you all. Thank you.
They want to start that Culver City group up again. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but the share place has asked them to come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one in Florida?
No, it's the one in Culver City.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thanks all. We'll do it again in September. Writers, get your scripts up.
Get busy.
Happy Sunday.
And actors, when you see a script posted, if you want to act, you got to make that contact with the writer. Let them know that you want to do something.
Thank you.